Well folks, I've got another lens update for you. Canon will be releasing two RF luxury lenses with an aperture of f1.2, and it's going to happen here in 2025. Will one of them be a refresh of the 50mm f1.2? Or will Canon finally give us that elusive RF 35mm f1.2, the one that you've been waiting for? Well, I'll answer these questions in this video, but first, I have a simple and yet humble request. Please subscribe to this channel. It doesn't cost you anything, it helps this channel grow, and it keeps you informed on the latest camera gear. Canon Rumors tells us that we've been told that a pair of new f1.2 L series prime lenses are on the horizon. And that will put us on par to receive 10 to 15 lenses here in 2025. Now part of that obviously would be Sigma releasing some lenses as well. The lenses that they released, well, announced last April, I think it was last April, and then took all the way till January to fulfill the 5 different APS-C lenses, they were very well received. So we'd be surprised if Sigma doesn't release some more lenses, most likely APS-C. As far as full frame, I wouldn't expect those to arrive anytime soon. And one of the reasons why I like Sigma is they build an awful lot of affordable lenses, zoom lenses, primes, with high quality internal all metal parts that aren't expected to snap in half through normal use. And yes, that's the Canon RF 200 to 800mm f6.3 to 9.0. More on that in a later video. But as you can see, my RF 200 to 800mm is fully intact. It's working. No issues at all with it snapping in half, although I have been really rough with it. Anywho's, back to the topic of hand. So, what can I tell you about these two new lenses? What focal lengths and other ingredients to the lens embodiments? Well, unfortunately, no one's going to get wet from this leak. Canon Rumors says there was no information about the focal length, or when we might see such lenses released. Stick with me, and I think I can deduce, through deductive reasoning, what lenses Canon's got planned for this f1.2 aperture, the two lenses that we're getting in 2025. First off, we could get a net new lens, or we could get an update of an existing lens, like this 50mm f1.2. And it's a great lens. I'm shooting with it right now, but it is a little bit heavy. One thing about a lens like this, if you're into portrait or what else? Portrait photography, fashion photography, you don't care because the quality of the results is there, but I think we can admit that it's a heavy lens. But there's something else about this lens that's surprising. Now the 50mm f1.4, do I have it here? No, it's upstairs. So the 50mm f1.4 is a terrific lens. I absolutely love it. I should have it down here for props, but the 50mm f1.2, when it comes to the minimum focusing distance, well, it's 40 centimeters. And for the 50mm f1.4, it's 24. That's a huge difference. Now, one of the biggest problems I've had with using the 50mm f1.2 for food photography or product photography is that too often I want to get closer than the lens allows me, and it's frustrating. Whereas the 50mm f1.4, being about 6.3 inches closer, or what was that in centimeters, 6.3 inches closer, or 16 centimeters, that's a huge difference. And I haven't had that same sort of distance anxiety with the 1.4, the 50mm f1.4. To get up there, get in close, it's great. It's a really, really nice, really terrific L series lens. But now imagine a version 2 of this lens. Sony also builds a high quality 50mm f1.2, and their lens, well, it's 172 grams lighter. And Canon's 50mm f1.2, well, it's missing that very popular aperture ring that we're starting to see on all the new lenses coming out. And unfortunately, unless you have the Canon, what is it, the R5 Mark II, the R1, I think there's some other cameras that will support that aperture ring for photography as well as video. So the 50mm f1.2, it was announced back in 2018, and I can't remember if it actually delivered in late 2018 because it was announced in October, or if it came in January when we got the announcement of the RP. But that's going back to 2 + 5, 7, that's 7 years. So it's certainly within the reach of what is expected for Canon to refresh a popular prime with a version 2. It certainly makes an awful lot of sense, doesn't it? And it's far more popular as a candidate for a refresh than the 85mm prime. But I also expect Canon to give us a new fast and wide lens worthy of the luxury moniker. And I think we all know which new lens that Canon could release, which is at the top of almost everyone's list. I love shooting with a 35mm f1.4. I've only had it for 3 days, but it's terrific for run and gun, for shooting wide. But many, and I mean an awful lot of people, a lot of photographers, fashion photographers, food photographers, there was an awful lot of people that weren't too happy and thought that the f1.4 was a bit too much of a compromise. And, well, they've been saving for this lens for a very long time. I mean, people weren't as upset over Canon's position on third-party lenses, but they were pretty disappointed that there was no RF 35mm f1.2 after being told for many, many years that it's coming. For some, the difference between f1.4 and f1.2 might seem meaningless, but an f1.2 aperture allows more light to reach the sensor compared to f1.4. The second advantage to the f1.2 is the distinctive depth of field and bokeh. That f1.2 aperture provides not only a shallower depth of field that enables a more pronounced subject separation and a smoother, more aesthetic background blur, but delivers a better quality blur, more spherical, more detail. And while the f1.4 does a pretty good job when it comes to high-end fashion and portrait photography, an f1.2 with its higher quality glass is the clear winner. And then of course lastly, there's look and feel. Do you disagree or agree? One thing I found very interesting, and I've been following this conversation for many years. Now I own the 50mm f1.2. I have the 50mm f1.4, and I think up here somewhere, do I have the 50mm f1.8? And yes, I do. So I have the trifecta, the 350mm. And I gotta say, I love the 50mm f1.2 when it comes to getting up close, when it comes to that bokeh, when it comes to shooting in dimly lit environments, that f1.2 makes a difference. But the quality of the glass, along with that depth of field, along with that f1.2, it just delivers a superior optical quality than what we're seeing in these f1.4s. And I'm not saying, for example, these, like this 50mm f1.4 doesn't deliver a high quality image or video. And I'm not going to get into the software corrections. We're seeing more of that in lenses at all price points. But for most of us, me inclusive, I prefer the 50mm f1.4. The 35mm f1.4 is great too. Not only do we have that aperture ring, but it's lightweight. It's an L series. And for run and gun, any sort of video work that's doing run and gun, for most portrait, if you're doing school photography, I mean, an f1.4 is more than adequate. The number of times I've seen where they're shooting Santa Claus or they're shooting portraits at school, they're not even using a lens of this quality in most cases. But I want to know what you think, and please let us know. Let's start the discussion down below. Let us know what you shoot, because I think that's very helpful for people watching. They're tuning in and they're hearing people say, you know what, you don't need anything more than an f1.4. And then others saying, no, that f1.2, I want the 35mm f1.2. It makes a difference for what I shoot. So by telling us what you shoot, it really helps people who are watching this video not just to hear my viewpoint, but to hear your viewpoint. And if you're interested in getting the 50mm f1.2, well, good news. It's $100 off at $21.99. And the 50mm f1.4, also no sale, at $13.99. And if you're interested in picking up any of these lenses, or there's a mountain of cameras and lenses that are on sale right now, the good news for the R5 Mark II, if you've been waiting for that, it's already dropped $300 down to $39.99. $39.99, you're getting a free battery grip for the Canon EOS R5 Mark II. I mean, that's essentially $600, $650 off the price that I paid for. Now, the Mark I, $29.99, and also you get a free battery grip. So if you are interested in purchasing any of these deals right now, I've got the links in the description down below to Adorama and B&H. Please use my affiliate links. By using these links, these guys right here, or I have them itemized in the description down below, I get a small commission back of anywhere from 2 to 5%, which honestly keeps the channel going, literally keeps the lights on, and it's very much appreciated. I can't thank you enough for watching this video, watching it to the very end. And for those of you in the United States and Canada that have used my links in the past, thank you so much. It means an awful lot to me. I've tried adding European links, but getting through to the right contacts, you'd think that if I was trying to help them sell more gear, they'd want to respond, right? Yeah, it doesn't seem to be working that way. Unlike the United States, when I reach out to Adorama and B&H, they're both like, yeah, you know, yeah, we'll set you up, no problem there. Anyhow, in a future video coming out in a day or two, I'm going to be talking about the 800mm, I was going to say f1.2, the 800mm the 200 to 800mm f 6.3 to 9. Boy, am I having trouble getting that out. So apparently, a lot of these, there's many reports of these snapping. Yeah, so I'm going to prepare a separate video for that. I teased a little bit about it in this video, but I'm going to do it justice and cover it off in a separate video to give you the details as I have it. And I want to do a little bit more research before I put it out there. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have yourself a great week. And by the time you get this, who knows, maybe it's closer to the weekend. We'll see you again soon. Thank you so much for watching.